Hi everybody, I hope everyone's doing well. Well, today is July 10th, 2024, and I'm here to do a special video. I think it's special. I've been wanting to do this video now for a couple of days. Today's Wednesday. I've been wanting to get on here since Sunday, and I did, but honestly, you guys, the videos got over an hour long. And that's because I want to do recap and update and then talk about what I want to do. I talked about what I've learned and a whole bunch of things. And the video just got really, really long. And in order for me not to let more time go by, I just decided to get up on here after therapy. I just had therapy right now. So if I look a little down or look a little disheveled or whatever, it's just, I just got out of therapy literally about 10 minutes ago. So I know it gets worn down. I get worn down sometimes, emotionally, and it's intense. So I'll let you guys know where I'm at in my therapy. But anyway, so let's get on with it. Why is this so special? And that's because July 5th was my 1 year anniversary that I completed my health quest. I started July 5th of 2023 to not lose weight. That wasn't my intention. Actually, I started back in January of 2023. That's when I knew that I needed to get healthy and that I wanted to do this by reducing my stress once and for all. I knew that for me, there was no amount of diet, there was no amount of even weight loss that I was going to be able to sustain it and keep it off with all these issues that were going on in my life and has been going on now for years and years and years and years. And so I knew, especially after being diagnosed at 38 with hypertension, due to chronic stress, that I knew that the way for me to finally have any peace and health and weight loss was going to be through managing where I can remove and reduce my stress. And if I couldn't manage, or if I couldn't remove it, that I could manage it better. And so I knew that that was the route that I needed to go in 2023. But yes, of course, I had no idea how to go about it. I just knew that the focus had to be off of the scale, off of the actual dieting and weight loss, and into getting all these issues resolved and finally finding peace within myself. At least I knew that. And so for the first half of 2023, from January to the end of June, I was sort of spinning my wheels. However, I was dealing with a lot of issues. I was tackling some issues. I was confronting some issues, spinning my wheels, yes, but nevertheless, finally looking at things, especially my marriage, and we're going to talk about that. But just really just needed to get in there and just start dealing with it. Exactly how, I had no idea. However, what I was going to focus on July 5th of 2023 is I told myself, focus in on your diet, because I knew for me at that point that the ketogenic diet was, at least at the very minimum, was going to help me through my stress, and it was going to reduce inflammation markers. And I knew that at the very minimum I can control. I can do something to help my body from acquiring any more unnecessary inflammation and stress, or stress and inflammation. And so that's what I did. I fired up the camera because I started a private video diary for myself that I still will be putting up. And I'm kind of glad that I waited, because in those private video diaries, they were a lot about my marriage. And I was just talking to myself, right? Now, at the time, I weighed 207.2. That's what I started July 5th of 2023. And I did weigh myself. I did take some body shots that I will share with you as we go along through, not in this video, but as I make my videos. Because, again, they had a lot to do with some private issues. And I think that's why I was kind of not putting them up. Anyway, I did take some body shots, and that's what I did. I actually started low carb, and then I just sort of started going down by 10 grams increments. I also knew that low carb for me was not going to garner any weight loss. For me, 50 grams of carbs to 35, 30 is really maintenance. So when I started at 80 grams, I just did it to sort of help myself not tackle too much at one time. You know what I mean? Like, I really was going to do things in progression, especially with my diet. At this point, just a little reminder, I've been doing keto since 2017 with the doctor that I found here. And then I recently, within recent years, about 4 or 5 years ago, I discovered Dr. Ken Berry, and I've been following him for like my keto guru, if you will. I'll add his channel below. But when I first started keto 2017, I did it all wrong. You know, I wasn't doing it the correct way. But I feel like now I really have a good understanding and a good grip of, for me, how it works. And it's just really keeping it whole foods as best as possible. The other thing that I did different was I implemented strength training versus cardio. I started feeling that because, you know, at my age, I was going to be 55 in October last year. So I was 54 when I started. I really felt like cardio for me was just inducing more stress for me at that time anyway. You know, I've been menopausal now since 3.5 years. This January will be 4 years that I've been menopausal. And I just found that because of I've been so chronically stressed, coming into menopause was not an easy transition for me. It wasn't. I was so stressed. My hormones were all wackadoodle, you know, my cortisol, you know, which is supposed to work for me, was working against me. And then when I hit menopause, I just feel like I really was one of those women that just has a hard time losing weight. So I decided to, in August, I found a channel here called Improved Health. Her name is Jules, and I started doing her strength training program. I really, really like her because she deals with geriatric patients as her job. So she goes at it in a different angle. I guess, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know, but it's not so gung-ho, heavy weights, and it's a progression, and she has different playlists and stuff. But you know, she really targets with women. She really talks about women issues, especially women in menopause. And so I really liked that because it was like I connected with that and I really liked it. So the second half of 2023, from July to December 31st, was all about the ketogenic diet, starting at 80 grams, and I started bringing them down, and then strength training. And I found that that was just something that I was holding on to because all this other stuff that I was going to deal with, and you know, my marriage was at the top of that list. I still had no clue how to really go about any of it. Other things too in my life, not just that, but at the very minimum, like I said, I was confronting, I was having conversations, I was not burying my head in the sand, though I really wasn't making any headway. Come 2024, January, that is when things really took a turn in my life. My son Aiden had a real big trauma happen in February, and so you know, with all of that, I can tell you that as far as what I did in that situation was I stuck with the cardio, or I'm sorry, forgive me. I stuck with the ketogenic diet, and I stuck with my strength training. It's like I really held on to it because that was really, really helping me. It helped me to cope with these strong issues that I was dealing with when it comes to my son. My son did get help, and he's good. He's fine. Everything's good. But also what ended up happening in March, I ended up getting a separation from my husband due to an event that happened. But let me clarify, I do want to make sure that, and I've said this before in other videos, that nobody had an affair. There is no physical altercations of any kind. There's no substances, no addictions, nothing like that happened or has been transpiring in the course of my 24 years. At that point, it was 24 years. I always say May. March 4th was 24 years of marriage. And anyway, we separated. It was tough. It was hard. I had no idea what I was going to do. But the one thing that I did know from coming into 2023 and knowing that my marriage, it was at the top of the list, I knew that this separation was not just a reprieve. I knew that this was going to be a change. What it was going to be, what it meant, I don't know. Divorce, you know, I don't know. I had no therapy. I had nothing going on. All I knew was that I could not do it anymore. And so we separated. He moved out, and my son was doing so much better, and I was sticking to my ketogenic diet. At that point, let me just tell you, in February, I believe my son went into the center. I'll tell you what I weighed then. I think that I weighed in at 180 Let me get it, you guys, so that I can give you the exact weight at the time that he went in. So coming into the new year, I had lost some weight. So let's say around February 18th, I weighed 182.6. So that was like about a 23-pound loss at that point. So that's pretty much what I weighed when I got separated, about 180, around there. Again, 23 pounds. I think it's slow, but I think that it's a testament, at least at that point, that with all of this stuff going on and everything that I was dealing with, off camera, I was still on a downhill when it came to the weight loss, which was for me a testament of just tackling it from a different angle instead of the focus on the scale. Anyway, we move on. The other thing, real quickly on the side note, one of the things that I discovered was belly dancing. I have been always wanted to belly dance about 9 years ago, and I remember when I used to live in a different area that I did try to find a studio so that I could belly dance, but I couldn't find one. So around that time, around the end of March or so, I believe, I started belly dancing. And so consequently, I was belly dancing and strength training at the same time. But as of current time, I just sort of stuck with the belly dancing. It's just therapeutic for me. It really is more, I can't even describe that when I'm belly dancing. I'm so much in my zone. I just need it. I love dancing. I've always loved dancing. And so I think it's such a beautiful form of dance. I love the music. When the music goes on, it's just infectious and it makes you want to dance and give it all you've got. I do belly dancing with Portia, with Belly Motions with Portia. I will at her channel as well. So my husband moves out, and at this point, I remember I made a vlog. I'll put it right here. And in that vlog, I said, I can't believe what my life is, like what my life is becoming. At this point, though, my son was doing better. He was doing better. He was still in therapy. He was home and things. But anyway, I know what I meant. I can look back now and really tell you what I meant. And that was, knowing my husband the way I knew him, at least at that time, not having any real answers, but just knowing what I knew that there was not going to be any amount of talking, especially after what happened in March. And knowing what I knew deep down in my heart, I knew that it almost seemed the inevitable was going to be, and that was a divorce. Even though I wasn't talking divorce, even though I love my husband and I still love my husband, but with just being tired and just knowing that, for so long I took the marriage as a whole, I made it my issue, and it was also told in a certain way throughout the years that, well, it's all me. And so 24 years of me trying to fix something that I didn't know how. So just being in the car that day in the vlog going, what is my life? I never thought this would be me at 55. And that's what I meant. I just meant that there was no going back for me. Like, I can't do that anymore. And then that day I ended up getting therapy. I remember the vlog, I was calling the insurance, and that was like on a Friday. And then by Wednesday of the following week, I had a therapist. And by the way, she is the absolute best. And I think our fit is so good. And we just talked about this today, as a matter of fact, because we always talk about women, empowering women, women issues. She's a little bit older than me. I'm 55. She's a couple years older than me. And so the relatability of our ages, and things that we go through is so there. And so we take sometimes moments where we're just kind of talking about women things, empowering things. And it feels so, so good, especially for me, that I don't have that in my circle. I mean, I have my sister-in-law who I talk to, but she's got her issues and things. And so it gets a little hard, but nevertheless, we can spend hours on the phone. And then my best friend since third grade, she's got her strong issues she's dealing with, but we do go out from time to time and talk on the phone. But you know what? It's just really, really nice to just banter back and forth with her. So it's been really amazing. Plus the fact that she's a marriage therapist and she's also an individual. And the fact that she's also moving her practice into women issues is, I don't know, I think that she's moving her practice towards just women of our age and older, mentoring younger women. That's what she does. Funny, but today she told me, when I saw your form. I said, okay, I want to work with her. She says, because that's where I'm moving my practice. So it was just a perfect fit. And it's been a very, aside from that though, it's therapy for me has really opened my eyes to so much, not only issues in my life that I already knew I had. I understood they were rooted in my childhood. I had that insight just because I've been in therapy before. When I was 22, I went to therapy for 4 years dealing with the trauma of my childhood, but it was a lot of it had to really do about the actual physical traumas and other things. Was diagnosed with PTSD. I also was diagnosed with survivor's guilt because I did leave the home. And there was just a lot, but one of the things that I still default and brought with me all the way into my 55 years of age is the one thing we're working on, and that is the cognitive distortion. And I'll get into it here in a little bit. The last video I believe that I brought up with you guys was also a video where I said, I think I posted around the beginning of June, but the video actually was recorded around mid-May. And that was a fact when I found out what my husband is actually dealing with, like the actual name of what my husband has been dealing with and why my marriage was affected from day one. And I remember making that video, and I don't really think that I was able to express what that did for me and to me, understanding this name, understanding what he has. And I don't think I still can, because I'm still, believe it or not, sort of processing it in a way. I mean, 24 years, I've done a good number on myself because of the nature of who I am with the cognitive distortions. But I can tell you, he's been in therapy. He's still in therapy. And all of this made sense to him. And those are the things that he's dealing with now in therapy. But one of the main things that came out of that therapy session, other than the actual name, I understood him. And I understood that this was not something he did purposely or mindfully, and that there was nobody to blame. I am not to blame, and he is not to blame. And let me tell you, it made a world of difference in terms of just being validated for me. Not that I want to be right or anything, but that there was something. And when you live for so long believing it's you, it really does a number on you. It's just been an eye opener in so many ways. But yes, particularly understanding my marriage, understanding him, and it helped me to understand myself even better because of who I am and what I do to myself played a big role in how long I allowed this to go for 24 years and why. And that is exactly what I'm working on in therapy today. And then the other thing that happened before we talk about my therapy and where I'm at with everything and my situation with my husband is one of the things too is that at this time he ended up moving back in. I'm not sure if it was a little bit before that or at that time, but he ended up moving back home due to financial constraints. And that's the truth. When my son went into the center, we really poured out thousands of dollars, not hundreds, but thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's with insurance. And every penny was worth it, right? But the reality is that it really took a hit to our finances really, really hard. And so he called me up one day and we just started talking about it. And yeah, he had to move back in. We had a spare room and that's where he went. And at first it was really, really hard, even with the understanding of this is what he has, this is what we're dealing with, this is what, da 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 da. It was still hard because, I at that point was separated from him, but I was really sort of changing, like I was healing in some way without his presence in the home. I mean, you know what, it makes a difference. And so when he came back in, I found myself slipping a lot back into sort of the keeping it pushy mentality, the dysfunction of it all, even though we were very much separated in separated rooms. But when we got to common areas or common things, it's sort of, I just found myself mentally saying, just keep it pushing, don't stir the waters up, da 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 da. And the cognitive distortion that I have just really was amped up, if you will. And I understand this now more than ever, but at that time it was very, very frustrating. I thought, here it is, And I even wanted to stop my therapy. I even wanted to stop YouTube bringing it up because I just felt like, okay, I'm just going to end up going back to what I've known. And I did tell my therapist that when he moved back in, and she said, no, this is a real thing. These are real issues. And I'm so glad that you are not stopping your therapy. You have a lot of healing to do, not just from the marriage, but also from your childhood that sort of tethers me in this cycle of cognitive distortions. And so I stuck to it. The other thing too, really, really quickly, I want to talk about that. I also recently told my therapist that I did YouTube, and that came around all that time around in May. Like I said, the videos you didn't see, I think that was the latest video you saw at the beginning of June. But I told her that I do YouTube videos, and I don't know, I don't know, I kind of felt kind of apprehensive, and I had been wanting to tell her that I do after therapy talks and all this stuff. But I told her, and she was very, very encouraging of it, but very, very cautiously encouraging of it, just because of who I am and the cognitive distortions and what could potentially happen in an environment like YouTube. However, she does also, because she is such a passionate person herself in terms of helping other women, sharing our stories, our plights, whatever we have, and uplifting each other. She's all about that. You know, she's changing her practice into, you know, more with women of our ages and older. And so she sees like a bigger picture of what I would love to do eventually on here by sharing my story. And it's been a topic of conversation, the truth be told. It's been a topic of conversation. One of the things she had told me was just, you know, record my videos, do my videos, and then just edit them and then just keep them there. Don't post them. Don't do anything. You know, just keep them there. And until you're ready to, you know, post them, you can. In the meantime, just do the things that, you know, you're able to. So it's been a topic, and that will bring me to where I've been when it comes to those videos, and particularly I did keep recording in the month of June all the way till June 22nd, and then that's kind of like where I stopped, because I felt like I was getting behind. And as much as I wanted to be open and vulnerable, I suppose, I did find it hard. And, you know, you guys, when I came out here and I told you guys at the earlier part of the year, one of the things that happened when I separated was I wanted to bring my life where it is presently more in the present moment and bring my emotions and feelings, right? So I decided that I was going to talk about my separation, which was the first time since 2012 being on YouTube that I was truthful about my marriage, because my marriage has been dysfunctional since the day I married him, and I know why now. But you know, I did talk to my husband, I did talk to my children, all four of my children, and if any one of them would have been not on board with it, I wouldn't have done it, you guys, because you know, I'm that person, you know. I just really, they matter so much to me. And I do love my husband. This is not about shaming him or shaming the situation. It's just sometimes we're in these situations, and I'm not the only one. I know that there are other women in these situations. I want to be on YouTube, and I want to be with more current feelings, current emotions, but those are the ones that get hard for me. But it has nothing to do with YouTube. Nothing at all. Okay, I'm not getting validation here or approval or trauma dumping or anything. I'm just trying to show this 55-year-old woman heal, you know, and share the process. But it's a little hard for me just because of the nature of who I am. So there's that. There's that. And we've been talking about that, my therapist and I. So I think that is everything so far as the major, the last time I've seen you guys. But now the update, I will tell you, my husband and I, we are still separated. He still lives here. He's in his room. I'm in my room. You know, it's a dynamic. It could be hard sometimes, just because we're processing so much of myself and he's processing things of himself. So it could be a little bit hard, but I can tell you just on a very basic level, you guys, I can tell you that the boundaries that we set are being met and respected. We come together a little bit with a little bit more understanding, not only of ourselves individually, but as a couple. We understand why. We're learning, not completely. We're barely, like my therapist said today, we're just in the beginning stages, of my own healing. And I can just imagine what he goes through in his therapy. And so we're just coming together a little bit more different, a little bit more open, a little bit more honest, I guess. But it's not always easy. You can't help but have, for me anyway, I'll stick with me, but you can't help but have some deep emotions and scars and traumas because of what happened, especially what happened in March. So I don't want to portray something that isn't, but it's getting a little bit better. It's getting a little bit better to talk. We've had a deep conversation. I'll let you in on this, and then we'll move on. But we understand that right now we just don't know where we're going to end up. We do love each other, but what can we heal? How much can we heal? I believe we can, but we need to see it's two people, right? It's not just what I want or not what just he wants. We have to take ourselves individually and then kind of come together. But regardless of what decision we make at the end of it all, it will be a mutual decision. That I can tell you. No, we can't be separated forever like that. I don't think that's healthy. However, we just started the real work. And so there is no pressure to say, okay, there isn't. At times I do feel a little antsy in it, and I feel like, oh gosh, I can't do this, but it's momentarily, and I can. So that's where we're at, you guys. That's where we're at. We do go out, not on dates or anything like that, but we do go out. And finances, we talk about them together now, so that's really good. And we do go out, like grocery shopping and things like that, but not shopping. We don't do that, but just the necessity things we do, and we have good conversations. There's more conversations that are being had that are more, how do I say it, they're just more raw and real. And that's really where we're at. So in my therapy, I am continuing with the cognitive distortions. We started with the healing of it. We haven't started with the actual techniques. A lot of it is preliminary. I'm understanding cognitive distortion a lot more. In fact, that's what one of the sessions I had today was, understanding it more, understanding that it comes from different angles. And we all have it, but in my case, she said it's pretty deep, and it comes from all angles. Cognitive distortion can come from many ways. The other thing that we're working on is, what she has to know is disassociations, and that is when you check out, like when you there's so much coming in of just like a influx of irrational thoughts, and at some point you sort of check out, and that some of you who have like depressions and things like that, that's kind of along the lines of it. And so she's trying to figure out how much I disassociate in any given day. Because one of the things for me, that when I walk around here and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I don't even know when these thoughts and things are occurring. That's how bad it is for me. It comes from every angle. It could be from somebody telling me about myself. It could come from a perception I have. It could come from my online store. It could come from YouTube. It could come from my marriage. Today I learned some techniques on how to stop them when I recognize them. Right now, I don't even recognize it when it's happening. That's how bad they are. I don't recognize it. And one cognitive distortion can lead to many. It opens sort of a gateway of many, and to the point where this is why for many years sometimes I would just check out. I didn't understand the whole checking out, but I'm understanding that. And there's so much good about understanding and being self-aware of, all of it, but also to know that you're not like this because you want to be like this, but that you're like this because of something traumatic happened in your childhood. And the traumas are not surface traumas. You have big traumas, small traumas. These are deep rooted traumas that occurred as a toddler and went on. And so what happens in your adult life is you sort of take all that and you learn how to do it to yourself, and then you grow, because it can affect a lot of the things that you want to do in your life, a lot of those goals and things that you want to accomplish. And it's affected every part of my life. Like I said, it's almost like you go on autopilot and you do what you were taught as a child. You kind of do it to yourself, or what was done to you and how you perceived messaging. And all of it has to do with me. In other words, it's not about how I view another woman. And for instance, if I see a woman who went through adversities and they've overcome it, I'm fascinated, first of all, about it, because I feed off of that, you know, and then I'm so immensely like, yay her, you know, yay her. And so that's how I view women. But when it comes to me, no, no, it's very distorted, and that's it. That's the whole point. And so it's not about getting over it. It's about healing it. And today, that's the biggest message I got out of it, because I was like, you know, when you understand it, you then are more patient with yourself. When you understand why you are the way you are, you're therefore more patient with yourself. And you're able to do the things that you need to do to finally reverse it. Because when you tell yourself what I've been telling myself is get over it, get over it. Like, oh my God, why can't you just do what you want? It's not that easy. It's not, but it's going to be, it's going to get there. And you know, the reality is, in my situation, especially with my marriage the way it is, and the beautiful children I have, I am very blessed. I am very, very blessed to be able to still be home to take care of what I need to take care of. But at least now, while I'm home, I'm doing the work. You know, I'm doing whatever I need to do. And that's a good thing. I'm very, very blessed, very, very fortunate, and I'm totally aware of that. And I give God all the glory and praises for that. So there is that, you guys. There is that. That's a quick update of what I'm doing in my therapy, you know, my understanding. So it's kind of a little bit of a long video because I wanted to get that portion of it in. I just didn't want to leave you guys hanging. All right. So that's been the year in a wrap up, really, really, you know, in a nutshell, really. Let me tell you what I weighed July 5th. So let's just go get right into the weigh-in, okay? And I think that the last weigh-in, I believe I was at around 200 and, I'm sorry, not 200, 176 maybe, at 177, I believe. But I've been weighing myself every Sunday for the most part. I have. So what you're going to see here, you're going to see the bottom number is going to say like 174 even, I believe. I believe that's what it's going to say. Let me get it here. And that was from June 30th. That was from the last day of June, which was Sunday, I believe, right? I think, if I got my days right. Yeah, 174. The top number is going to be from this past Sunday, which was the 7th. So let me go ahead and show you that. So there you go, 173.6. So a total loss of 33.6 pounds. So you know what? In 1 year, it's a testament. It's a testament to what I set out to do. Didn't know how it was going to turn out, but right now I can tell you that it's good. I'm so immensely proud of myself. So what I want to bring to my channel, like I said, my channel is different. It's moving away from just focusing on my weight loss. Makeup, I do want to bring back a little bit of my makeup. I do want to make empties videos, get ready with me. As I did this one with my Profusion palette, brunch, something like that. Let's see, let me see. I'll get it for you right now. Love You So Brunch. I love this palette. You guys know that. I love this palette. I've been using it a lot. But yes, I miss bringing makeup to you guys. So I definitely want to do that. But I don't want to put so much on my plate because when I don't do it, because of whatever reason, the thoughts just are coming in. And I get that. I'm getting it so much. So, but I do want to do that. The other thing I want to keep on my channel, I want to keep this journey. I want to keep this journey with you guys, share it with you guys, and do it. But I have to do it a little bit slower and at my pace. I really, really do, because I'm understanding a lot about myself. So I don't want to come on here and say, I'm going to do this, this, and this. No, I can't. I just can't. But what I want to do, continue the videotaping, do after therapy talks, which is where I have therapy and then I just fire up the camera about what I've learned, what I'm learning, and what happened. My therapist is very encouraging of that as well. And she's encouraging of anything that has to do with just empowering women and sharing a woman's journey, because like I said, she's moving her practice into more of women of our age. The other thing I want to bring is when I go over here, and it's called Meeting at the Tripod, where I talk about my day, how it went, and then I show you my belly dancing outfit, and then maybe a little bit of belly dancing. Kind of want to keep those, but overall, overall my channel, I think it is changing, and I want to see it change. That brings me to the other thing I want to say as far as this next new year, because we're going to do another new year of it. Okay, I don't know what to call it. It's not going to be called Health Quest though. I was thinking a lot of times she uses the word, she always says, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am. She goes, for you to reinvent yourself. And so I like reinventing Laura or something like that. The other thing too, she uses a lot of the word healing. These are words that I'm picking up on, is healing, healing. And so I don't know, maybe the journey could be called Healing Laura for this new year. Something like that. I kind of like that one better. But also I want to change. What I want to change is my YouTube channel. That's another thing I want to change. I don't want Walking for Life. It served me well because I was walking for life and I liked it and it served me, but it doesn't encompass me right now and or who I am. And I don't see myself going back to Walking for Life. So I want a new channel name. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it real hard. So if you have any ideas, I don't mind hearing them. If you don't mind. I've been working in my store. I'm going to continue to work in my store. She uses my store, I can tell you right now, as a tool to show me the cognitive distortions and how I played it even in my online store. And so we've been working now for since the middle of May when it comes to my store. She uses it as a tool to, she says, we're going to flatten it out. We want to start from the beginning, and I want you to get to the point where you enjoy what you're doing. So in one session, she had me talk about my store, tell what I sell in my store, and she saw the excitement in me and the thrifting and this and that. And so she was like, okay, this is it. This is where I want you to start, is just enjoy. It's okay to have something you enjoy. And so we've been using my online store as a healing tool as well. And it's been pretty neat because I've been in my store now a whole heck of a lot, made some changes and things like that. I'm also looking at other areas in where I want to grow my online store, but I'm taking it slow, you guys. I'm not jumping into anything. When it comes to doing things online, there's so many ideas that I want to do, but I'm just jotting them down. I'm not doing anything. I'm not, other than fixing my store right now, changing titles, shipping, pulling things off of my store that I no longer want in my store, changing the way I hold my inventory. It's just, that's what I'm doing. But I have so many ideas about what I want to do with my online. It's not going to just be eBay anymore. There's a lady that I've been watching that I've been studying, taking notes, because I think I'm going to take my online presence some differently, and I'll share that when it all comes. But I'm excited. That's the one thing I want you guys to know, that I'm very excited for a lot of things in my life. It's just I get knocked down at the knees really quickly, and that's what happens. And so that's why I'm going at it with my therapist slowly, you know what I mean, writing down the ideas but not jumping into them, because I knock my own self at the knees. So there's that. So I'm very excited. There's another video that I want to make when it comes to, and I made mention of this about women and talking about women, and that is I want to talk about certain women that I've been watching, not just on YouTube. I think it's just one on YouTube and the rest have been on Facebook. These women have helped me without them even knowing. Everything that I will be saying is online. I don't know these ladies in my real life, so I wouldn't know this information unless they put it out. But I want to talk about them, and I think that their stories help me, and it might help one of you guys as well. But I just want to talk about how I see in the face of diversity how they switched it and changed it. But it's not easy. It's not like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it this way. It's because of something challenging that came into their lives. And I'm drawn to that because I'm trying to get myself to that point as in my own healing. You know what I mean? So anyways, I want to bring that video out. Hopefully I can record it in this coming week for sure. So anyways, my friends, that is it. I'm going to go ahead and head on out. I haven't eaten and it's already 4 o'clock. Oh, no. I want to put this out there, okay? I forgot. This is important. Okay, so basically what I want to say really quickly is what I've learned in the year, okay? Other than the therapy thing, okay? That But the other thing is OMAD. I don't want to do OMAD on a regular. I was sort of falling into that. I think OMAD for me stresses out my body. I do, for me, a very stressful person going through all this stuff, healing could be stressful too, the process of it anyway. And so I felt like with OMAD, I was just overly stressing my body. So I don't want to do that. And then the other thing too, what I learned is protein. This past year, I learned the importance of protein. My hair, I've been upping my protein to about 100, 115. My hair is so much softer. It's still falling out. It's thinned out tremendously, but it's softer. My nails grow at a rapid pace. My eyelashes, I mean, this eyelash is an amazing. This is from Estee Lauder Tintitle, I think it is. Or yeah, amazing. But my lashes are like thicker, like they're more thicker. My skin is more supple, you guys. It's more soft. I don't have a lot of, not too much dryness. My anxiety, I do have anxiety just because of what I'm going through, but I feel like it keeps it with high protein. It helps with my anxiety because it helps with my sleeping. So there's that. And then the other thing I like is sitting at ketovore. I like sitting at about 10 to 15 grams, no more than 20. I find that for me, that's where I love it. So there, I'm going to keep with ketovore for the most part of the year, okay? I would like to do maybe like a week of carnivore here and there. For me, keto, 50 grams to 35 grams of carbs for me is maintenance, so I don't like that. So I just, not that I don't like it, but when I get to maintenance, I would like to sit there, around there. But for right now, because I want to keep all the inflammation markers low when it comes to like the foods that I eat and help my body in that way. And I do want to go down on the scale. I want to keep with the ketovore. My exercise is going to be belly dancing. Absolutely belly dancing. That is, I try to do it for about an hour and a half. And I pick things that are like 50 minutes long, and then I'll pick another session that's about 25 to 29 sessions long. And they're not like a constant cardio. It's not like that. But the dancing itself makes me feel so amazing. So I love it. So that's going to be there. I'm going to bring back my strength training because I want to focus on my arms. My arms are really, really bad. Belly dancing doesn't really focus on my arms too much. My shoulders, yes. My chest, yes. But my arms, no. So I want to bring back some strength training. Cardio, I just want to move more in my day. I don't really per se do cardio other than walks and things like that. And I want to weigh 145 by the time July 5th comes around 2025. That's my goal weight. At least that's where I want to get to, and then we'll evaluate it. But 145, those are the things that I learned that I really feel for me work. And then I want to put it out there that I want to weigh 145. So let's do another year. We're going to call it Healing Laura. That's what we're going to call it because that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I got that from my therapist. I'm going to tell her that too. I said, you named the new journey of mine. So anyways, my friends, that is it. I think that is it. If I miss anything, I'll write it down and I will cover it in another video. And I will take you in my therapy, after therapy talks. Some of you said that you guys really enjoy what I'm learning. You like that I share those, and I appreciate your feedback. All right, my friends, that is everything. I'm going to go eat and rest so that I can belly dance tonight. All right, I'll take care, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. All right, think of a name, a channel name. All right, bye.